doing the dye tutorial. My daughter Emily was kind enough to take video for us. This one's Osnaburg. I've done a linen and a duck so far, so this is kind of experimental as well, but as you can see, this was a bad tie-dye effort on my part. So we've stripped it, and we're gonna try again doing jewel tones. Okay, so we have a wrap on the line. It's kind of windy here today and we're expecting thunderstorms, so I just ran a second line on the bottom to keep the bottom of this wrap from flapping up and flipping over. We have our dye bottles. We're using olive, emerald, ocean blue, violet, and denim. They're all dye-lock colors, as you saw before. We mixed them up with some salt and some hot water. Shake them up real good and make sure everything's diluted at the bottom. Put your sprayer on, and you're just going to start top to bottom because everything's going to run and leak towards the middle. So when you start spraying, just stand back a little bit and just make a pass. And it's not going to look like much at first, but after a few more passes, the color's going to start taking over. You're good. You have 5 separate colors here, and it doesn't look like much at first, but it's going to get darker as you go over. But also keep in mind with the Osnaburg fabric, it starts off at more of a neutral tan brown, so your colors may not get as bright as they would if you're using a white duck or a white linen. But we've got our olive, our emerald, our ocean blue, our violet, and our denim, and you can kind of see that they're separated. And all I did was front and back, squirted down, squirt the back, and then kind of let the colors do what they're gonna do. But we'll make another pass here and we'll show you what it looks like after the second one. So we've done our second pass in all the colors, and they're getting a bit darker and a bit brighter, but it's gonna take 3 or 4 more passes to get the bright color you want. And as you can see, we've only used a quarter of our dye so far, and it's already kind of taken shape. So the most important part is to remember to move your clothespins and spray under them, or else you'll end up with pretty white clothespin lines. On the bottom it doesn't matter so much because so much of the dye is running on top of them, it gets under them, but your top, unless you want white clothespin lines, make sure you move them and spray under them. And that's it. We're going to do another couple passes and show you how it starts looking. Okay, so we've done 2 more passes, so 4 passes total. Not super impressed, but I don't like the Osnaburg because it's darker to begin with, but you can see the difference. And for the last step, people had asked how I get it to blend so well, is just at the very end, once you have your colors on and everything's where you want it, you just turn your squirt bottle on the finest setting that you have, and then just walk and spray. And so when you do that, it's going to kind of deposit some color above and below your main strip, and that'll start blending as it dries. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to let it sit for about an hour, I think, before these thunderstorms start. But then we'll just fold it up and take it in and batch it in the house. But we'll show you it before it starts drying, and then we'll take another picture before we bring it in. So now that we put all the dye on it, we're going to let it sit and kind of drip dry. You can kind of see that there's some lines in the color if you look close. Those will go away as the dye spreads and runs to the bottom. So we will let this drip dry for a little bit and show you our product ready for batching. Okay, so we're going to bring it into batch because the sun's getting to it and drying it out too fast, and we don't want to lose any of our color. So I'll let you know how it turns out. And again, this is the same thing you do for the one that looks like a sunset that I've done. You just use different colors. So process is the same. I just wasn't going to make a third sunset wrap for a tutorial. I figured we'd use some of the dye we had and some of the fabric that we have. And there's a ladybug on it, so maybe this wrap will be super lucky for us. But I'll show you guys a picture of it when it's done batching and out of the wash. And that's it. You can do it yourself. As you saw, it was super, super easy. Just spray bottles and dye. And a little bit of patience. So that's it. Thanks. Bye.